I'm RJ Lewis. Welcome to my portfolio presentation. We will be going over 12 collateral pieces today that are made up of web design and print work that I've done over the past few years, both as a student and as a freelance designer. I will be highlighting some HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I do a lot of work in jQuery, as well as some ActionScript 3 modules, and a couple of WordPress themes, as well as some Facebook application and fan page customization. Going forward, I would like to do more development geared towards mobile applications in the form of browser agent specific formatting and user interface interaction. Really work on improving user experiences across the web. That is definitely something that I look at when I am designing first and foremost, and especially when I'm coding. I want search engine optimization to be a primary target, as well as the user experience, the expectations of the user, what they're getting out of that expectation. And well, let's get started. First and foremost, let's go take a look at my old portfolio so you can see where I've been versus where I am now and get an idea of where I'm going. This is my original portfolio, not very much going on in that home page. There is some good information here, but you kind of have to dig to find it and look around to get there. I really liked the overall thrust of the theme, so I updated it to this. Welcome to my new and improved website. This is the website for singer-songwriter Kai Dawson. As you can see, it's got some navigation at the bottom, so this one has some issues, but please don't crucify me. This is my very first website. So for the redesign, I am looking at doing this. Now what you see here is all of that same information condensed into one page. I'm either looking at doing this in Cushy or WordPress as a CMS, because she's going to be able to update the upcoming events as well as the music information as more becomes available. And you can see I've got a little widget for recent activity, got some social icons. I really think this is a little bit more in line with what needs to be going on. Now this was a project for interactive design, so this is coded in ActionScript 2 originally. Let's go and take a look at what I have planned for the redesign on this one. It's going to be similar. Now I did do some finagling with the logo. I made things a little bit different there, but the same idea and thrust. This one is also going to be a WordPress themed site. I'm coding this in HTML and CSS instead of ActionScript, something that's a little bit more user-friendly when it comes to users being able to manage the content on their own or with very little assistance. Next, let's go take a look at the Army FRG page. I am actually the administrator for the Facebook page. I redesigned the logo a little bit. There was an older logo, I think you can see it right here. It was more of, well, in fact it was something that they got off of a t-shirt and somebody scanned in. So I kind of went through and reworked that a little bit. I've also put together this newsletter tab using the My Tab app, so it's got a tab application within an application. There is also a lovely splash page. There we go. And I just did this in Photoshop. It's literally a waving flag with some other imagery dispersed inside of it. The code for the tab was all done purely in HTML and CSS. The Vampire Academy website is a search engine optimization website. The strategy for here was more of a linking strategy and a naming strategy. I didn't use a lot of meta tags or descriptors just because the whole idea behind the site would be that it would have a name such as vampireacademybooks.com or something like that. And a lot of times when you have your web crawlers going through looking for information, they're going to look for relevance. They're really deprecating the idea of having to have the descriptors and all of that in your head, and the bots are really overlooking that. So my strategy here was to have good links, good relevant content, keywords throughout the text area. And, you know, just a good solid design. There's no JavaScript or anything. This is all done in HTML and CSS. Next up, we have the Microsoft experience. This was advanced interactive design. For this particular project, which was coded in ActionScript 3, I had to come up with a product line and put together just a website, 10 pages, going over what's going on with that product line. One thing I really liked about being able to do this project was that it gave me a chance to kind of put together a cohesive architecture for what I feel is the Microsoft experience. I went with a tiled structure, very much like the new Windows Phone Series 7, and just kind of highlighted throughout the site things that make Windows Phone an attractive thing or Xbox attractive, and what ties them all together. The Zune Marketplace is available on all of those things, and it's just a very attractive proposition when you're looking at an ecosystem. There's a contact form and an about page, just inviting you to check out the connected experience. I may go back and redo it in Silverlight, or at the very least HTML5, which, you know, Flash is kind of sacrilegious to Microsoft, especially since they went with a different proprietary format. Next up, we have the Souvenir Journal for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority. I did this in 2008 using InDesign CS2 and Photoshop Creative Suite 2 as well. We're not going to look at the whole thing, but just to look at the cover, this project was fun. It gave me a chance to play around with the text and photography tools in Photoshop and do some layering and masking, and I really had a good time doing that. As it said, this is 44 pages. There was a lot of information coming from all kinds of different areas of the sorority, so this was an undertaking, but it was a really fun project. I got a chance to play around with typography quite a bit, and I enjoyed that. Next up, we have Cakewalk Decorating Supply, which was my sample e-commerce website. I've done a little bit of restructuring to the site. It was designed just a little bit differently, but overall this is exactly what you see is what you get. I did some jQuery accordions from the jQuery UI, so I used a widget to showcase the information or the shopping area, and the shopping cart is fully functional for this. Came up with a lot of about text and a fully functional email form, but also information for contacting by phone or by mail. There's also terms of use and privacy policy. I kind of went all out for this one and really tried to push the envelope and do what you would find at a real e-commerce site. Now we have Succession of Mages, which was an Illustrator project that I did. This one was to do a full product presentation. So I had to have a marketing thrust as well as several collateral items. This game does not exist. It's a figment of my imagination, but this is the cover that I did for the Xbox logo. Then there's the poster, such as you would find like at GameStop or something like that. And then I did a sweatshirt as my third collateral piece. This was all done in Illustrator CS4. And for my other Illustrator project, I had to do some type of collateral for a superhero. And so I came up with Nightingale, who sings to you and blows you away. Now, I did do a logo for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Oklahoma State, and along with the logo I did letterhead as well as business cards for them, and it was a good project. This actually was done in, I believe, 2009, and the other logo that I did was for the Midwestern region. That was way back in 2007. These are actually editable PDF forms. Basically, you chapter members can go in, fill out this information, send these forms in with their money orders or personal check, and go from there. Lastly, we have our banner ads, which were done according to IAB standards, and the outcomes for this were to have 3 different business sectors and 3 different types of banners. This was all coded in ActionScript 3, and they're all under 15 seconds and completely actionable. The USA banner was done in a 728 by 90 leaderboard. Then the Army Air Force Exchange Service, better known as AFES, was done in a half-page ad of 300 by 600. Newly Natural is a natural hair care blog, and for that website I did do a medium rectangle of 300 by 250. I'm actually very proud of the redesign. I think it turned out rather well, and thank you very, very much for joining me on this little adventure. Music for this recording, entitled The Zombie Sings, was composed by C.P. Bryan and provided care of freesoundtrackmusic.com. Thank you very much for watching my portfolio presentation. Feel free to visit me on the web at www.rjlewis.me. Thank you.